We are going to talk about the March of Dimes today, a wonderful organization that is helping families and babies right here in our community. So John Davis and Chelsa Goad, thank you for being with me this morning.
Thanks for having us.
Yes,
Good morning.
Thank you.
Let's talk about the March of Dimes, but before we talk about the good work that you all are doing, you're actually here to talk about your upcoming annual dinner, which is taking place this Thursday, October the 16th. So, Chelsa, you want to start off and talk about the dinner coming up?
I do. We're actually having a testimonial dinner. It's a yearly event that we have to raise money for the March of Dimes. There will be a silent auction and a live auction and, of course, dinner. And we are honoring Hilda Legg this year.
Is the dinner open to the community?
It is, but it's $500 a table or $75 a seat.
And if people want to get a ticket to the dinner, how can they do that?
They can contact the March of Dimes office.
And we'll give that contact information for the office a little later in the show. But that dinner is coming up this Thursday, October the 16th at 6:30 at the Center for Rural Development. But, John, let's talk about the March of Dimes. Why should people maybe think about coming to the dinner, and what work are you doing here? Talk about the March of Dimes for people who may not know what the organization is about.
Okay, the March of Dimes actually was started by President Roosevelt, and its initial mission was to stamp out polio. Now, the mission is for healthy births, healthy babies, not just in Kentucky or the United States, but across the world. Preterm birth is, it's a terrible thing. It takes a terrible toll on the family, and also really on resources, which, we can talk a little bit about the cost of preterm birth, both in the hospital and then on, down the road. But our goal locally is to be a conduit to families that are going through this, dealing with maybe losing a child or having a child in the NICU, the neonatal ICU. We want to be able to help support them in any way we can, and then also to reach out to expectant mothers or mothers to be, ladies that want to have children, and provide them with as much information as possible so that they can be educated and make smart choices and have a healthy pregnancy and birth. That's our goal.
John and Chelsa, you both are on the board of directors for the March of Dimes, and you also have a personal connection to the March of Dimes from your own personal experience. And Chelsa, you want to talk just a moment about your experience?
Yes, ma'am. I had a set of fraternal twins at 24 weeks, little boys. My youngest is now 7 years old. He had a twin brother named Levi, and he passed away at 2 days old in the NICU from a pulmonary hemorrhage. All premature babies are born with a hole in their heart, and they get shots to close the hole over a 3-day period, and they had both received their first shot, and he has bled into his lungs. So
you know what it's like when you're helping families who have experienced the loss of a child due to a premature birth.
Yes, ma'am. It's a very hard thing to deal with, to lose a child. But we are very blessed to still have Landon. And he also has an older brother, Connor, who's 12. Landon's 7 now. He's in 2nd grade, and he is just wonderful. He's a perfect child. But we went through a lot. We were in the NICU for 3 months with him. It was a roller coaster up and down. We were fortunate in the fact that he didn't have any brain bleeds. But we've seen a lot of families go through a lot of things that just breaks your heart to have to witness.
And the March of Dimes is trying to prevent families from having to go through that. John, why are you passionate about the March of Dimes?
My wife Heather and I actually had our first child, Claire, at 25 weeks and 2 days. She weighed 14 ounces. So she may have very well been the smallest living human at one point in time.
And to put that in perspective, how many weeks is a full-term pregnancy?
40.
So
40, and she was actually
weeks.
born at the gestational weight of a 22-week-old fetus. There was intrauterine growth restriction. You learn all these fancy, fabulous medical terms when you go through this. So she was our first. She will turn 5 in December. She has her challenges, but she is amazing. And I get to wake up to a miracle every day. And I can't tell you the perspective you gain on life from that. But we didn't stop there. We had a second child. Our youngest is Audrey, and she was born at 32 weeks. She weighed 3 pounds and 4 ounces and looked gigantic to us compared to her older
Your little
sister.
14-ounce baby.
Right. And totally different experiences. Totally different experiences just because of those few weeks. So when we're out doing what we do for the March of Dimes, I always think about, can we buy, what would it mean if we could buy an extra week, an extra 2 weeks? It's a tremendous impact on the health of that child. So I encourage you, if you're out there listening and you make donations and you think, what good does this do? And if you can buy days, it makes a tremendous impact. And you're talking about, really a small difference, yet it's huge.
And that's what the March of Dimes is trying to do. You all have been through this as a family. Very quickly, before we take a quick break, talk about the family support group. Chelsa?
We are going to have a family support committee. We're going to have meetings for families who have went through premature birth in their families or have lost
in
a child.
Kentucky, it's 1 in 8, right? 1
Yes.
in 8 children are born prematurely.
Yes, ma'am. It's a big thing here in Kentucky. A lot of babies are born premature, and we want to stop that so no other family have to go through.
It's actually higher than the national average. Nationally, it's 1 in 9, and Kentucky is 1 in 8. So we're behind the curve a little bit. Sorry.
That's okay.
The March of Dimes. If you want to know more about the March of Dimes, you can visit marchofdimes.org. We're going to talk more about the March of Dimes organization coming up a little later on in the show. But the testimonial dinner, auction dinner, is taking place this Thursday, October the 16th at 6:30, and we will give you the contact information on how to get tickets if you would like. And all proceeds from this dinner, Chelsa, goes to the March of Dimes.
Yes, ma'am.
We are going to take a very quick break, and when we come back, we do have a trivia question for you about the March of Dimes. And all this week, we are going to be giving away some great prizes from the Mole Hole because their fall open house is taking place this Friday and Saturday. So if you've been paying attention to us talk about the March of Dimes this morning, our trivia question will have something to do with that, and we will take care of that when we get right back. You're listening to Mid Mornings with Amy, presented by the Mole Hole of Somerset. Welcome back to Mid Mornings with Amy. It is Monday, October the 13th, 8:43 in the morning and 67 degrees outside, and we are having a great conversation with John Davis and Chelsa Goad with the March of Dimes organization, a wonderful organization helping families and premature babies. So welcome back to the show, and if people have been listening to the show this morning, then the trivia question that we are about to ask should be easy. Easy. So we do have a question for you, and we are giving away to the first person to call our studio with the correct answer to this March of Dimes question, who has not won a prize on Mid Mornings with Amy in the month of October, 2 UK wine glasses from the Mole Hole. And if you haven't seen their glasses, they're very, very nice. So a nice prize this morning for a very important question. The number to the studio, 679-9959, 679-9959. And when you call in, you're going to be talking with John and Chelsa this morning. The question is, in Kentucky, 1 in how many live births are premature births?
I know the answer.
I do too.
Yes, you do.
Can we win?
You cannot win. In Kentucky, 1 in how many live births are premature births? Chelsa, we'll let you take the first call this morning.
Good morning. You're on Mid Mornings with Amy.
Good morning. We'll try another one. The question is, in Kentucky, 1 in how many live births are premature births? John?
Oh, good morning. Thanks. I'm sorry. Thank you for calling Mid Mornings
You
with Amy.
forgot your job,
This
John.
is live radio.
Good morning. How are you? Do you know the answer to our question this morning?
I'm thinking it's 10.
It's not 10. That's a nice guess, but it's not 10. It's
Close.
not 1
Very
in 10.
close.
In Kentucky, 1 in how many live births are premature births? The number to the studio, 679-9959, 679-9959. Chelsa?
Good morning. You're on Mid Mornings with Amy.
Hi.
Good morning. Do you know the answer to our question this morning?
1 in 8.
It is 1 in 8. And John, you were saying 1 in 9 is the national average, but in Kentucky it's
Right.
1 in 8. Well, congratulations. And what's your name?
April.
April. Well, April, what I need you to do is when we take another break a little later on in the show, I need you to call this number back and talk to me and give me your full name and telephone number so that you can go to the mole hole and pick up your UK glasses, okay?
Okay, that sounds good.
All right. Thanks,
for
April.
calling.
Thanks.
1 in 8. And it's the mission of the March of Dimes to make that go away.
Right.
No premature births.
Right. That we
At
want
all.
to get it under 1 in 10 is Kentucky's goal. And you know, we've seen improvement over the years. Just a few years since I've been involved, they give a preterm report card for each state. And 4 years ago, when our family first started our involvement with the March of Dimes, Kentucky was a D. We have moved to a C, so now we're passing. So I like to see that progress. I mean, because you're talking about thousands of births. So it's we're making a difference. And you guys out there that are donating money, the companies that are involved as sponsors and corporations across not just Kentucky but the U.S. are making a huge impact on little ones. So thank you.
People are asked to give to so many organizations these days. And the March of Dimes, when people get information about the March of Dimes and are asked to contribute whatever amount that they can, Chelsa, what would you tell people about how important it is to give whatever they can to support the work of the March of Dimes?
This is our future. These are our children. Our goal is for no other family to have to go through what we've went through. It's heartbreaking, and it's so awful just to see your child have to go through that. Our goal is for no other family to have to go through that, and it touches so many lives. It could be your children one day's children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, your nieces, your nephews. This is our future. We want to save our babies.
If there are any local families from the Lake Cumberland area, from Somerset, from Pulaski County, who may be in a NIC unit right now, like you were,
Yes.
Chelsa, and who is going through the pain that you went through about a premature child, and John, you as well, they need to know that the March of Dimes can help them. So how can they get in contact with you, and how will the March of Dimes maybe be able to help them in certain ways?
Of course, we want them to get in contact with us. We're here for them. They can contact the March of Dimes office and get our phone numbers. We can talk with them anytime. We've been there. We know you're up all hours of the night.
And you are a resource, and you can help in certain
Yes.
ways, and they need to
Yes.
call to find out how.
Yes. There are resources that the March of Dimes can help you with if you're in the NICU, or even after you've come home. We have a family support committee that can talk to you and help you cope.
If people want to donate to the March of Dimes, how can they do that? I would say there's several different ways they can do that.
The dinner Thursday is the most immediate
Yes.
opportunity. You know, and I always tell people when we go through the annual fundraiser, the actual walk, the March for Babies, if you want to donate $1, if you want to donate a quarter or a dime, hey, how about that? We'll take it. Like
Yes.
there is no minimum donation. Okay, the most immediate way to donate is to be involved at the dinner. If that's not an opportunity that's right for you or your company, you can always donate online through marchofdimes.org. You can always come to the local office and find out, or reach out to Chelsa or myself,
Right.
or you, Amy, as a board member, and find out opportunities to donate and to serve, to give time, to give services, I'd say that's the best way to start.
And the dinner that John is talking about is the testimonial dinner and auction for the March of Dimes, coming up this Thursday, October the 16th at 6:30 p.m. You can get a ticket. You can bid on auction items, and all of the proceeds from this dinner go to support the work of the March of Dimes. And Chelsa, you were telling me about a partnership that you have with the Girl Scouts here locally. They are going to be making clothes for babies that were born prematurely and who passed away.
Yes, ma'am. The Wilderness Road Girl Scouts Troop Number 1618 and 1402 are going to be getting together in the next couple weeks and sewing clothes for the families of the babies who have passed away for them to be buried in, because you cannot find clothes that small to bury your baby in. So we are going to be donating some clothes to the hospital for the families to choose from to bury their babies in, because that is just such a hardship for the families to have to deal with.
And it might not be something that we think about if you have, John, as you did, a 14-ounce little baby. And fortunately for you, she's still here.
Yes.
But for a lot of families, you might not think about getting clothes for a 14-ounce baby. And I think that's a wonderful relationship that you have with the Girl Scouts for them to do that.
We, when we were at UK with Claire, we were there for so long, but they didn't have hardly anything, to cover her other than blankets. And I think it's a very noble thing that these Girl Scouts are doing. I think High Street Baptist Church is doing some of that as well. So I can't thank them enough. And we hope to, once we get this started here, maybe branch out to some of the other area hospitals. I know Lake Cumberland is the biggest in our area, and it has probably the most pressing need for this. But then, too, the part of the goal, our goal anyway, Chelsa and myself, is hopefully to be able to reach out to these families and let them know that they're not alone. It's something you don't think about. I think you mentioned that, Amy. It's you're not prepared to deal with it. You're not prepared to deal with your child staying in the hospital and having to leave. You're not prepared for losing an infant. Nobody's equipped to deal with that. And I think that if we can offer an empathetic ear, certainly that's what we're going to do.
When you support the March of Dimes, this is what you're supporting. You are supporting helping families who have to go through the loss of a child and are helping to prevent it from ever happening. Again, we're talking with John Davis and Chelsa Goad with the March of Dimes organization this morning, and the testimonial dinner and auction coming up this Thursday, October 16th at 6:30 at the Center for Rural Development. And we are going to get you back to a little more music. And coming up, we will tell you one more time how you can donate to the March of Dimes and how you can get tickets for the dinner on Thursday. Thank you so much for joining me this morning on Mid Mornings with Amy. It is Monday, October the 13th, the start to a new work week. And I hope you are having a great morning. I want to thank one more time John Davis and Chelsa Goad with the March of Dimes organization for talking about this organization that I know means so much to the both of you.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
If any local families are going through what Chelsa and John have gone through, experiencing the birth of a premature child, you can contact the March of Dimes office at 606-802-8634, and you can talk with Danny and Kara there. The office is located right here in Somerset on Office Park Drive. So contact the March of Dimes. They are here to help. And testimonial dinner. John, very quickly, 10 seconds.
Thursday, October 16th, 6:30 at the Center for Rural Development. Come on down.
Thank you, John and Chelsa, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.